Yeah, there was $11 billion in the stimulus bill, actually $10.9 billion to be specific, for smart grid and transmission line upgrades. And the Apollo Alliance had proposed 11. The Apollo Alliance proposed $11 billion. The actual bill had 10.9, so it was pretty close to exactly what they requested.
But they did not get 100. The Apollo Alliance also wanted $100,000 or $100 million for job training for the new smart grid. They got that, so they did get their $11 billion or $11 billion.
You're right, different section of the bill, but overall they did get the amount that they wanted. And actually, in a lot of areas, they got more than they asked for in this bill, which is pretty incredible.
Which, America, you should just ask yourself this: what happened to debate? What happened to debate on these things? Pat, Van Jones, the guy we just introduced America to a few minutes ago, and he's just one of the many czars, and we're going to be covering many of them this week. He wrote a book a few years ago, and he came up with an idea called Hoopties for Hybrids. Cash for clunkers. It's his idea. This guy may be a genius, but he obviously has a radical past. The White House, when we asked them, did you know about his radical past, didn't address the question, which they do all the time. Would you, as a Democrat, would you ever put a guy like this in advising the President of the United States, an avowed communist?
Well, no, I'm stunned. I don't even understand how he got through an FBI investigation, except he told me they've called the FBI off investigating them, which I don't understand.
Joe, did the White House, do we know? The White House, do they still have the vetting power now? They were trying to circumvent the FBI. Did they actually get that through? Several people now are being vetted, not by the FBI.
Nobody even talked about this. The one piece I read was some journalist I once respected a great deal never mentioned that he was a former communist or that he'd been in prison even. I don't know. I know Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton probably would not have appointed him, if that helps you on that matter. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? The question is, where do they come? But this question about this money stuff, don't you understand? It's all payoff going on. People want power and people want money, and the country is going, and the people believe it's going over the edge.
America, let me raise this flag for you. Our wives, our children, our God, our religion, our land, our freedom. That's what I care about. I don't care about power. I don't care about money. I want my freedom. I want my children's freedom. Questions. All this week, this program is just about asking questions. Am I a hate monger for asking questions? Next.
The Villages, Florida's friendliest hometown.
Live the lifestyle you've always dreamed about. Golf free for life on all of our executive courses, and enjoy free membership in all of our country clubs, including the Arnold Palmer and Nancy Lopez signature courses. Visit thevillages.com to request your free video tour and start living like a millionaire on your retirement budget.
Here's some food for thought from Smart Balance. People are getting wise to the fact that zero trans fat on the label doesn't always mean zero. How do you really know? Look at the ingredients. If any of the ingredients say partially hydrogenated, that means trans fat. Put it back. Try Smart Balance Buttery Spread. Of all the leading brands, only Smart Balance is made without partially hydrogenated oils. Smart Balance, as close to zero trans fat as nature allows.
This is a dollar bill. It's worth 27% less today than it was in the year 2000. And who knows how low it could get in the next 8 years. Would you like to see what security really looks like? This is gold. This is solid. Since the year 2000, gold has more than doubled in value. To which would you rather trust your future? The dollar, the yen, the euro? Unreliable. If you're looking for security, it all comes down to this: gold and Rosalind Capital. Rosalind Capital takes the time to listen. In these tough times, that's more important than ever. With an honest partner like Rosalind Capital, it is never too late to establish a solid plan. Buy your gold where I buy mine. Rosalind Capital. Call today and ask for your free guide to owning gold. The call is free and definitely worth your time. Call Rosalind Capital and tell them Gordon Liddy sent you.
Think about what you spend on bottled water. It can really add up. But now you can make great tasting, purified quality bottled water at home. It's called Zero Water, and it's the only filter pitcher that meets the FDA's definition for purified bottled water. And we'll give you the meter to prove it. Test your tap water, even other filter pitchers. Only Zero Water reads all zeros like purified bottled water. It's bottled water taste without the cost and waste. Get Zero Water at your favorite Target store and start saving today.
America, here are just some of the questions, and I'm going to post all of these online. These are just the questions from today's show. Are unfunded liabilities for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid close to $100 trillion? Is there any way to pay for these programs without bankrupting America? Yes or no? If so, how? We're in so much debt, why would we spend more borrowed money on cap and trade and health care programs before we stop the flow of red ink? The stimulus package funneled billions of dollars to Acorn. How does giving billions of dollars to Acorn stimulate the economy? Please answer that question for me. If it was so important for Congress to pass the stimulus bill before they even had time to read it, why has only a fraction of the stimulus money been spent 6 months later? And in fact, when Barack Obama was called out on it, he said to his cabinet members, you have to speed this up. What did they do? They slowed down. Bush said he had to abandon the free market principles in order to save them. Can someone please explain to me how that works? Why won't a member of Congress read the bills before they vote on them? Why are citizens mocked and laughed at when they ask their congressman to read the bills? Was Cash for Clunkers program meant to save the earth or save the economy? Did it accomplish either? How did Van Jones, a self-proclaimed communist, become a special advisor to the president, an ear from the president? Did President Obama know of Van Jones' radical political beliefs when he named him a special advisor? The Apollo Alliance claimed credit for writing the stimulus bill. Why is this group allowed to write any portion of the bill? If politicians aren't writing the bills and aren't reading the bills, do they have any idea what these bills actually impose on the American people? If the public option, the health care plan, is so good, why won't the politicians agree to have that as their plan first? If town hall meetings are intended for politicians to learn what's on our mind, why do they spend so much time talking instead of listening? Politicians are refusing to attend town hall meetings, complaining without evidence that they're scripted. Does that mean we shouldn't come out and vote every time you have a campaign stop? You're kissing babies and you give a speech that has been scripted? Well, why would you want to overwhelm the system? Is using the economic crisis to rush legislation through Congress what Rahm Emanuel meant when he talked about not letting a crisis go to waste? Are the czars being paid? What is the budget for their staffs, for their services, their office? By not keeping quiet and just blindly following, by asking, as Thomas Jefferson put it, bold questions, you can change the course this country is taking. This administration and its allies on the left will do everything they can to make these questions about anything else, about me, about you, about the groups that you might be involved with. The questions are about them. All we want are answers. Your life, your country, your future, your family's future are at stake. When I changed my life, I'm a recovering alcoholic. When I sobered up, one of the reasons why I could sober up is because of that line from Thomas Jefferson. Question with boldness. I've added a couple of other things. Question with boldness. Hold to the truth. And speak without fear. I'm going to put a complete list of all of these questions that I've just asked tonight, and there's a lot more all week long. You can find it at glennbeck.com. Tomorrow, we'll introduce you to the storm killing capitalism from New York.
Next on Special Report, the Attorney General begins a criminal probe of CIA interrogators who questioned terror suspects. Plus, we now have the documents former Vice President Dick Cheney requested about the effectiveness of those interrogations, and you'll see them. The White House takes control of high-value interrogations with the announcement of a new elite unit. The president's science advisors say the outlook for the H1N1 flu season is not good. And Republicans go after seniors upset after